All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Ben Dyke Show here. We are live. I've got a new setup. I've got some new stuff rocking and wrong. Let me know in the chat how the audio is. It's very important we get the audio correct. I wasn't going to do a live stream tonight, but I got excited. And I got excited because the Democrat Party has lost the narrative. They have completely lost control of everything. Let me know how the audio is. If it's 5x5, thank you so much. That's exactly what we like to hear. And I wear hearing aids. So there you go. And sometimes the audio is low because I wear hearing aids and it plays with my hearing aids. So there we go. But Ghislaine, I almost said Elaine Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, apparently was in court today or was in Congress. Thank you for all the 5x5s. I really appreciate it. We've got a couple of major announcements coming this show. She pleads the fifth in the Epstein probe, refused to answer questions, right? She's going to continue serving the 20-year sentence. The Democrats that suddenly thought that they were going to gain control of everything have lost control. They have used this entire Epstein narrative to try to sidetrack everything. And apparently Miss Ghislaine has somebody, hey, Ben, Bad Rabbit stole your truck. I don't think so. I don't know who Bad Rabbit is, but there we go. But there's a lot of people now that are coming out and they're kind of upset. Ro Khanna is one of them. Jasmine Crockett is another. I'll let you hear Jasmine first because she really is upset that it's not working out for them. Let me hear the audio. Let me know how the audio is. I've been tinkering with it. Fred's been a good boy.
You know, it is so, I don't really know where we are in this country. Why are we even having this conversation? The United States is falling apart right now, partially because he's going out and randomly allowing for the killings of people in the middle of the street. But the other part of it is that we have a 34-count convicted felon, and there are people that are still shielding him from any type of accountability as it relates to a child sex trafficking ring. It is time to take the blinders off. Like, I don't understand why we are pretending like any of this is normal. And I think that that is the level of frustration that so many people are bringing, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, specifically to the Epstein file situation. Because right now we know that they were willing to try to throw the Clintons in prison for not showing up, yet they won't even allow us to bring other people into committee who we know are mentioned in these files and mentioned so much more. When we went through the hearing as relates to the Clintons, I said, listen, we know that Donald Trump's name is mentioned more. Bring him in too.
Oh, so it's whose name is mentioned more. Okay, gotcha.
Like, I'm not saying that this should be partisan. This should be whoever. I want to be clear about that. This, for the Democrats, this isn't partisanship. This is about right versus wrong.
Have you ever heard of a Democrat say it's about what's right versus wrong? I mean, it seems odd that a Democrat would even use that sort of terminology. The one thing that the Democrat Party will not mention, is a guy by the name of Anthony Weiner. No one wants to talk about the laptop that guy had, will they? And this is blown up in their face. This has went absolutely pear-shaped on the Democrat Party, and they can't run away from it. She is in prison. Ghislaine is in prison, and they had this virtual, what do you want to call it? This virtual, I don't know what you want to call it. Deposition, I think is what it is. And listen to what old James Comer says here. This didn't work out the way they wanted.
As expected, Ghislaine Maxwell took the fifth and refused to answer any questions. This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed. as well as questions about potential co-conspirators. We sincerely want to get to the truth of the American people and justice for the survivors. That's what this investigation is about. As expected, Ghislaine Maxwell took the fifth and refused to answer any questions. This is obviously very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators. We sincerely want to get to the truth of the American people and justice for the survivors. That's what this investigation is about.
Did anyone expect Ghislaine Maxwell to just come out and start suddenly telling the truth? Did anyone expect that? Because if you thought that a criminal was going to come out and suddenly tell the truth, you're crazy. You're off your rocker, because it's not going to happen. These people, criminals, care about one thing: themselves. Themselves. That's all they care about. They don't care about truth. They don't care about justice. They don't care about politics. It's about saving themselves. Ghislaine Maxwell apparently is trying to get a pardon or some amnesty, whatever you want to call it. I don't think Donald Trump's going to play the game. I do not think is going to play the game. And I'd love to understand from you all. Says she took the fifth to avoid new evidence, hence new charges. I don't know. Let me ask you this. Would you, if you were the president for 30 seconds, would you pardon Ghislaine? Would you pardon her for testimony? Would you pardon her for testimony? Yes or no? Now, here's the thing. Whatever she says, you might not be able to prove. Are you going to take a criminal's word? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Do you take her word for it? I don't think I can. I don't think I can take her word for anything. And I don't believe it's worth a pardon. Epstein is dead. Some people think he's alive. She's locked up. I think right now we've got enough stuff coming out that this might be as good as it gets. Might be as good as it gets. I'd love to get your opinion on that, right? Here's another thing. If you were the president for a day, what would be the first thing you could do? You could only do one thing. You could only do one thing. You could only sign one executive order. What would be the executive order that you signed? Because I think I would probably pass the SAVE Act. I would just immediately sign the SAVE Act. Somebody says, unfortunately, you're right. 20-year supply of jelly donuts. Okay. Term limits for Congress. That could be a good one. Congress or the Senate, term limits. I agree. A lot of people think no tax on beer. Christian is obviously an alcoholic. I'm sure there's an AA near you. I'm sure. Release Tina Peters. I'm sorry. I think that's a state level thing. Outlaw the Democrat Party. No more homeless veterans. There's a lot of programs to help homeless vets. There's a lot. Should there be more? There should. There really should be more. All right, we're going to jump into some of the SAVE Act stuff now because I want to show you a couple of things. First, I'm going to show you some irony. Right here. Where is that? Here's the irony coming up right here. Here, buckle up. This is going to be a good one.
Good. How are you? Are you the shop owner?
Yes.
I have some terrible news. It looks like your certificate for the shop, it's actually expired.
No, he's not.
Yeah, it expired, and we're going to need $500 today to make sure that you can still have the shop going.
Who are you?
I'm Javante. I'm with the Illinois State Licensing Board.
Oh, can I have your ID?
Excuse me, bigot? Did you just ask a black man for his ID?
You're not black.
I was assigned white skin pigmentation at birth by my parents' bigoted doctor, but I identify as African American. You can't ask me for my ID. That's racist.
No, I'm not racist.
Those are your signs out there, aren't they? It says ID is racist.
That is different.
How is it different?
It's different because.
Because how? Did you ask me for my ID so you know who I am?
Who are you? You need a license.
So you're asking me so you know who I am, right?
Yes.
Because an ID makes you feel more comfortable knowing I am who I say I am?
Yeah, because I have to know who are you.
Isn't that what they're doing at the voting booth?
Yes.
Exactly. So how are IDs racist at the voting booth? You don't have an answer, do you? You just put up those signs just to put them up. You did?
Yes.
This is so true. But look at the signs outside of the store. Voter idiocy, whatever that means. Voter ID laws are racist. Just say no to voter ID. Dude goes in, they demand ID. Can you say hypocrisy? Can you? I love that. Excuse me, bigot. I was assigned white pigmentation at birth. And I love that he carries the brush for his beard. God, I love it. This guy's a comedian, but damn, he is so freaking right. It's all double standards. It is all double standards. We got a poll going on. Would you pardon her for testimony? 85% of you say you would not pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. Wow. Okay. I expected more people to want a pardon for that. Let's do this. Would you? Here we go. Would you subpoena? I think I spelled subpoena wrong. Thomas Massey for his list of names. Because Thomas Massey, I think I spelled subpoena wrong. I'm from Alabama. I'm stupid. Thomas Massey has said that he's got a list of 20 names. Should Thomas Massey be forced to provide that list of 20 names in the search for truth? I think he should. So let's talk a little bit more about this voter ID stuff, right? I'm from the great state of Alabama. Roll Tide. Roll damn Tide. Okay? That's where I'm from. But the one thing that I want to find out is, do any of you think that there is real voter fraud happening? Type 1 for yes, 2 for no. If you think there is real voter fraud occurring, let me know. Toe Jam, thank you for becoming a member on the channel. I needed somebody named Toe Jam in the channel. Every channel needs at least one little case of Toe Jam. So there's a lot of people in the chat I see that think there is real voter fraud occurring. Now, this is a little story from Gunther. 3,251 illegal aliens were caught, registered to vote in my great state of Roll Tide. That's in a red state with actual checks in place. Imagine the numbers in deep blue strongholds like California, New York, and Illinois. Sorry, I got to get a little of my Chick-fil-A sweet tea. I love a Chick-fil-A sweet tea. Do you know where Tallahassee, Alabama is? Yes. Let's listen to this.
3,000 registered voters in Alabama just got booted from the state voter rolls. That's after the Secretary of State, Wes Allen, ordered the removal of all non-citizens who were registered. But how did non-citizens get registered in the first place?
Whoa.
WAFF 48's Nick Ballinger spoke to the Secretary of State to get to the bottom of this story. Nick?
Yeah, Margot, when I asked Secretary Allen how these people got registered to vote in the first place, he couldn't give me a clear answer just yet, saying it was still being investigated. But when he gave me a breakdown of how many there were in each county, the numbers were glaring. This is a list from Secretary of State Wes Allen of how many non-citizens were registered to vote in our counties. The state found 3,251 people. 742 of them were from North Alabama.
We got the information. We cross-checked it against our centralized data file here in the state of Alabama and found those 3,200 individuals.
The information he's talking about are people with alien registration numbers. Those are issued to immigrants who intend to live in this country permanently and have already applied for a green card. However, you're not eligible to vote with just an alien identification number. When I asked Allen how 3,000 plus were able to register in the first place, he couldn't give me the answer.
But it's our belief that only American citizens should be allowed to vote. Non-citizens, whether they're legal or illegal immigrants, cannot register to vote. It's a federal offense.
To vote here,
It's a federal offense. Well, obviously, they would never break the law. Why would anybody break the law? Why would they want to do that? I mean, a law's in place so no one can break it, right? But here's my question for everyone in the chat. If there's 3,251 just in my great state of Roll Tide, what kind of numbers are we going to see in Minnesota, California, Oregon, Washington State, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona? What are we going to see in Texas? My great state of Roll Tide, 3,251. How many are you going to see in Georgia? Where you live, I see somebody in Michigan. In the states with no voter ID, you know, those 8 states that Kamala won, right? Kamala only won states with no voter ID. So what do you think, chat? The chat is always smarter than I am. On a low estimate, I would say Biden allowed 20 million illegals into the country. How many y'all do you think? How many realistically, how many people do you think Biden realistically allowed in the country? 50 million? 100 million? 30 million? I'd love to know. I'm going to go with 20. 20 makes me feel comfortable. I can't even pretend. 20 million pisses me off. I'm just going to tell you that. 20 million pisses me off. It makes my heart hurt, actually. But a lot of you are saying 50 plus million. Patricia says it's just a coincidence. Okay. There's a lot of coincidences happening here, huh? But how many of you think there are real fraudulent votes happening? 1 for yes, 2 for no. You're always smart. Somebody said they got mad at 2 million. Scoop's pissed. He's pooping in the litter box right now. He's scooping in the litter box. And here's the other thing. Now, riddle me this. Riddle me this, Batman. Let's say there's 3,000 illegals in Alabama. What would stop them from getting in their low riders? They all drive low riders with hydraulics. And then driving to Georgia. And then driving to Texas. And then driving to California. They're like a roving band of illegal voters. That's what I think. Green Bay, Alabama. I love you, dude. I'll let you know this. The first quarterback to win a Super Bowl was an Alabama graduate. He was an Alabama quarterback. His name was, I'll go ahead and give this one to you because nobody will understand it. His name was Bart Starr. Roll Tide. Okay. So they're coming out of the great state of Alabama. They're roving around like a band of traveling morons. We know that's happening. This is absolutely insane.
3,000 registered voters in Alabama just got booted from the state.
3,000 in Alabama. I guarantee you there's 500,000 in California. That somebody says, who's Bart Starr? That's a good way to get kicked out of the chat right there. That's a good way to get kicked out of the channel. Banned permanently. You know, if they're telling us it's 20, it's at least double, say 60. I can kind of agree with you on this. I can kind of agree with you. Man, I got a new setup right here. Everything's push button. I'm feeling like a high-tech redneck, to quote George Jones. You know as good as I do, there's a lot more voter fraud happening than any of us want to recognize. You know it. This has got to happen.
Set to vote this week on the SAVE Act, requiring voters to show proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. President Trump is stressing the importance of securing our elections.
I want to see elections be honest. And if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Pennsylvania. Take a look at Philadelphia. You go take a look at Atlanta. Look at some of the places that horrible corruption on elections. And the federal government should not allow that. The federal government should get involved.
Yeah, it's funny you point out Atlanta. Let's take a look at Fulton County, maybe. But Democrats, you know, they're largely opposed to this bill, including that one senator from Georgia, my senator. He even thought John Ossoff, he thought, even though he requires attendees to his campaign event to show photo ID, I believe this week. Joining us now is Texas Congressman Pat.
Did you hear that? The Democrat senator in Georgia requires ID to get into the Democrat event. I think he's a hypocrite. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with the hypocrite, the little hypocrite thing there.
How dare you?
How dare you require voter ID? How dare you?
Pat Fallon. He sits on the House Oversight and Armed Services Committees. Congressman, thank you for joining us. So we're looking at this bill, the SAVE Act. I know there was talk about including it into the negotiation for the funding bill. Now it looks like maybe it's going to be a standalone bill to get out of the House with Republican support. Where is this bill? What levers in Congress do you all have to try to actually get it passed?
Well, we'll pass it out of the House because we're a majority-driven institution, and every Republican that I'm aware of is for it because this is eminently reasonable. It's commonsensical. When you look at the polling, the American people are also right behind President Trump, and so much as 83 to 84% of any legitimate poll says that Americans approve of voter ID. They accept it. They think it's a good idea. And when the Democrats oppose it, and Chuck Schumer says crazy things like this is Jim Crow 2.0, it's exposing his soft bigotry of low expectations. And also, if he would resort to that kind of hyperbole, it's really shame on him.
Congressman, we have got to pass voter ID. There is no way around America continuing as a nation without passing voter ID. The reason the Roman Empire fell, there's about 3 reasons. Number one, they taxed their people to death. They taxed them into submission. Number 2, they allowed foreigners into their military. And number three, they targeted their own people. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar right now? We're being taxed to death. There's some people can't afford to pay attention. There are people that can't afford to sell their own house because of the capital gains tax. We've allowed foreigners to invade our military. We've probably got Chinese spies in every branch of service. And number 3, we have targeted our own people. Tell me I'm wrong. Rome fell. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because I think we're in a world of poop. I think we are in a world of poop unless we pass the SAVE Act. If you agree with me, let me know. I put a poll in the chat. I wanted to know what you all thought about how many people are here in this country illegally. 5 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. How many people do you think we have in the country illegally? Okay, let me know. Because you are always smarter than I am. The chat knows all. Look at this.
Breaking today, President Trump is keeping the pressure on Democrats who find themselves out of step once again with voters, this time on voter ID. The president is demanding passage of the Save America Act and lays out 3 clear rules for when you show up in a midterm or presidential elections: voter ID, proof of citizenship, and he says there should be limits on mail-in ballots. And while recent polling shows overwhelming support across the country for voter ID laws, take a peek at what Democrats say. 71% of them say this is a good idea. Yet liberal lawmakers are still pushing back, apparently against their own.
Even Democrats, 71% of Democrats want voter ID.
Supporters, including California Senator Adam Schiff.
71% of Democrats favor requiring photo ID. Is that something that you can support? And if not, why not?
It's still going to be something, Jonathan. It's still going to be something that disenfranchises people that don't have the proper real ID, driver's license ID, that don't have the ID necessary to vote, even though they are citizens. This is another way to simply try to suppress the vote.
In focus now.
Do me a favor. For anyone that's in the chat that's black, if we have any black people in the chat, I know because I've listened to what the Democrat Party has told me. The Democrat Party has told me that you don't know how to get voter ID. That's what every Democrat has told me. So I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to put my email address at the bottom of the screen. If there's any black people in the chat and you need help getting voter ID, you email me. Well, you probably don't even know how to use email. You probably don't even know how to write your name. So never mind. To hell with it. Forget it. You're just screwed. It's just racist, right? I mean, is this the lowest of low? Is this what Democrats have come to? This is their last thing? I mean, really? How'd they email? Yeah, exactly.
Now, Republican Senator Eric Schmidt to the great state of Missouri, member of the Senate Judiciary and Armed Services Committees. Great to see you today. So you saw that 71%. I mean, Democrats are leaning in and saying, yeah, this is a good idea. Why don't lawmakers listen to the people who elected them?
Because the Democrats want to have people who are here illegally vote for them. That's the God's honest truth. And I think if 2024 represented anything, Harris, it was a return of common sense. There couldn't be more of a common sense proposal than saying you have to provide voter ID to vote, just like when you check into a hotel or you buy an airline ticket, just to prove who you are. But I think it's really interesting and telling that two issues are connected.
You probably had to use ID to get on a plane to fly to go see Jeffrey. You probably had to use ID to go do that. I mean, come on, man. You even had to use ID to go do horrible things to children, right? If you put it that way, the Democrats are sided up.
Converging at the same time. This issue of illegal immigration and this issue of voter ID. The Democrats aren't really quiet about it anymore. They're sort of saying the quiet part out loud, which is they want to bring in 15 to 20 people 15 to 20 million people in here illegally, and they want them to vote for them because they know their ideas are terrible and they can't win elections otherwise. And so what Republicans are saying is, no, look, we want the return of common sense. We want to make sure people are who they say they are. We want to make sure our elections are secure and that people aren't disenfranchised, the people who actually are supposed to vote, by allowing people who aren't supposed to vote actually vote.
Well, another case of rules for thee and not for me, apparently for Dems. Critics are calling out Democrat Senator John Ossoff for asking campaign event goers to show government ID at the door. There are a lot of pictures of this going on. But he doesn't want to require the same thing for federal elections. And last year, when the SAVE Act passed the House, Ossoff released the statement, quote, "This."
I put a poll in the chat. How many pieces of ID do you have? 1, 2, 3 or more? Or what is ID? I'm black. How many IDs do you have? I've got a concealed carry permit. I've got a military retired ID. That's the one I'm very proud of. I've got a driver's license. I've got a hunting license. I have a work ID. I carry 5 pieces of ID daily. I know most of you have 3 or more pieces of ID. I know you do, unless you're black, and then you don't know what it is. You can't even spell ID, right? That's what the Democrat Party says.
This is a nakedly partisan, totally unworkable, bad faith bill cynically intended to disenfranchise millions of eligible voters, end of quote. But even that was a switch up from this comment back in 2021.
Are you open to things like voter ID if in fact they correct some of the other issues like early voting?
Absolutely. I think it's right and appropriate, and the widely held view of folks in Georgia and across the country, that we need to be able to make sure we're confirming the identity of folks who are participating in elections.
So in 2021, he did agree with 71% of Democrat voters that voter ID is a good idea. What changed between then and 2026?
Well, he's terrified because he's the most vulnerable Democrat on the map. He's elected in the state of Georgia, which is a conservative state that has 2 Democrat U.S. senators. It's also the home of Stacey Abrams, who engineered this mass mail-in balloting scheme election or so 2 cycles ago, right? So he understands what's at stake, which is if you actually have people who are voting and you require them to show ID that over 80% of Americans support. Like, you would think in this country, we have a lot of things we can argue about that aren't 80-20 issues. This is an 80-20 issue. This is the kind of thing that we should get done here. The Save America Act is common sense. The Democrats don't like it because it threatens their power. That's the electrical cord that runs through all these positions. They want to kneecap ICE's ability to do their jobs because they don't want deportations and they want illegal immigrants to vote.
You know, I always wonder what it's like for you on Capitol Hill when you know people do support something. Like, some on the left are showing support for showing ID at the polls. 4 Democrats voted in favor of SAVE Act last year. And here's what Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman, who you always hope has one friend in his own party, said this weekend.
And now, me as a Democrat, I do not believe that it's unreasonable or to show ID just to vote. It's not a radical idea for regular Americans to show your ID to vote. And it's absolutely, those things are not Jim Crow or anything. Of course, that's part of an awful, awful legacy of our nation for so long ago.
Your quick reaction to that?
It's a common sense position. I applaud John Fetterman for having the courage to say it to the face of the other Democrats. I hope more come along. I actually think it would be good for them. It would be good in this country to have a party that's not so radical. You know,
Democrats support criminals because if you come to the country illegally, you're a criminal. Okay? I mean, that's the baseline right there. That is the minimum. If you come to the country illegally, you start out as a criminal. If you vote in an election without ID, you continue to be a criminal. That's just the way it is. And sadly, the Democrat Party doesn't give a damn. There we go. Chad USA, there's an estimated 500,000 illegals in Georgia. I'll say double that. I'd say 2 million, probably more than double. I got to give a little shout out here to my sponsor, Chapter. They help with Medicare, the right plans. I had a conference call with them today. Give them a call, 332-867-1305. My audience has saved $175,000 in Medicare fees. Just my audience. Now, the new enrollment season is about to start. When we get to $500,000 saved, Chapter is going to donate $10,000 to the veterans causes that I work with. They're going to donate $5,000 to guitars for veterans. We'll probably buy a bunch of guitars and send them to some disabled vets. They're also going to donate $5,000 to my service dog fund to help veterans get or take care of their service dogs. All you have to do is give Chapter a call. They charge you nothing. If you're on Medicare and you want some advice on what would be the best plan for you, just give them a call. You're helping veterans just with a phone call, and you're going to save yourself some money. Blake in the chat saved $1,400 a year with one phone call this morning. One phone call saved $1,400. So give them a call. It doesn't cost you a damn penny. Not one stinking cent. Okay? It doesn't cost you anything. It's going to save you some money. Does anybody in here live in Kentucky? Are you about to get lucky in Kentucky? You might not think you're going to be lucky in Kentucky if you live in Kentucky, type the letter K in the chat. If you live in Kentucky, I want to know what you think about your governor that's about to run for president. He's going to run.
But we rarely talk about the why. People want to know what drives us, especially in a world with social media where everyone's looking for the next authentic thing. For me, that's my faith. Most of the decisions I make are based on that golden rule that says we love our neighbor as ourselves. Yeah. And that parable of the Good Samaritan that says everyone is our neighbor. Yeah. And so when I've taken actions like vetoing the nastiest piece of anti-LGBTQ legislation that ever came through my state, I described it in those terms. I said, my faith teaches me that all children are children of God. Yeah. And I didn't want people picking on those kids.
Yeah. Didn't want people picking on the kids. But he supports the surgical castration of children. When you put kids on a hormone, when you put them on a hormone blocker, it chemically castrates them. It is the same thing, the same medicine that they use for criminals that are in prison. It's the same chemical. This guy is going to run for president. Him and Wes Moore, Maryland governor, are both going to run for president as a Democrat. I don't know what's going on in Kentucky, but you're not getting lucky in Kentucky. Kentucky is in trouble. And here's one of the reasons. Thomas Massey, 2025, he said he knows at least 20 men are implicated in the files. Thomas Massey, 2026, I never said I had 20 names. Massey said he had the names. He said he was going to release it. He's not. He is a political pimp. He is pimping these women out for political gain. He is using them for a very similar fashion that what Jepstein did. It's true. Prove me wrong. Thomas Massey is going down the same road. He's doing the same damn thing. Let's go here. Let's go here. We now know why she's successful. I know you guys love her.
You know, there are those that have their own motivations for critiquing. And, you know, I think that the people...
Is it just racism and sexism? Like, what do you think it is?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things. I think it depends on who it's coming from. But I've been a black woman my whole life. So this idea that I'm gonna go and be like, oh, well, they're being racist or misogynistic towards me. Like, you think I didn't know I was a black woman when I woke up and decided that I was gonna run for the United States Senate? You think I didn't factor in and make sure that we had enough room to account for that? We did.
Well, I woke up this morning white adjacent. I am not white. I'm white adjacent. Do not question my identity. Scott, thank you very much for becoming a member. I always try to get 5 new members on the channel. Thank you so much. Cowboy Up, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. What are your thoughts on the new communist state of Virginia? I can't believe I live here. Jason, you're in a world of crap. Indiana has free IDs for low-income persons. ID is literally required. SNAP Section 8, come the F on. IDs required for everything down to spray paint at Walmart. Yeah, I had to go buy some Sudafed today. I always give them my concealed carry permit. Maybe that's just me being facetious. Astro Joe, member for 2 months. Thank you so much. There's an estimated I think there's more than that. I think there's way more than that. Let me give all of you a boom shakalaka here. I think you all deserve it.
Amen. Hallelujah. And boom shakalaka.
Thank you so much. You all deserve a boom shakalaka for tuning in. The trolls are going to freak here. Dan Bongino's back. Headed back to Fox News. Starts as a contributor tonight on Hannity. I want to do this. Let me try this. Let me try this. Do you like Bongino? Let's just do this. Dan Bongino, yes or no? Yes or no in the chat. Do you like Bongino? If you like Bongino, type the letter D for Dan, because I like Bongino. There's a lot of people that will criticize Dan Bongino that will never apply to be in the FBI. They would never apply to do what he did. Was he up against a lot of corruption? I think so. Did he write a check that his butt couldn't cash? I don't think he understood how much corruption was going on. That's what I think. But I think Bongino going back to Fox is going to trigger. He's going to be a contributor. So they'll get him on for spots. They'll get him on for different little takes, hot takes, things like that. And it's interesting because I think Bongino, a decent human being. I like Dan a lot. I got to try out my new phone system. And what better way to do it than a live stream? What better way to try out the phone system than with you, my audience? Some people are calling Dan a quitter. I don't think Dan's a quitter. Dan had cancer. I think lymphoma, I think is what it was. I don't know a lot of people that have lymphoma that chose to serve their country. Who said that Dan was a quitter? Who said that? Let me see here. Right Turn Clyde. Right Turn Clyde, are you a member of the FBI? How old are you, Right Turn Clyde? Have you ever served your country? Let me know. Right Turn Clyde. It's easy for you to sit in the chat and throw stones. Jeremiah, this is a demonic thing. Dan's a traitor of Christ. He healed his cancer, then he turned his back on him for Baal. Jeremiah, I might have to flush you. I don't really like that. I don't like that comment. I'm going to go ahead and flush you. I don't care for that. That rubbed me the wrong way. That's not suitable. I don't really like that. I think that's a very nasty thing to say. Very nasty thing to say. You don't know what that guy's been through. And who are you to judge anyone, Jeremiah? Who are you to judge? You're in your basement. Your mama's bringing you Hot Pockets, changing your diaper. I'm sure you had a hard day watching Sesame Street. Jeremiah's a bullfrog. That's a good song. That's a good song. Let's take a handful of calls here. I want to try out the new phone system. Lines are open, 615-475-7864. Let's go here. Talk to me. Line 2. What do you got, line 2? Hello, line 2. Line 2, what do you got? Okay. I don't think line 2 is speaking there. Let's go let's see what else we got. Let's see. Maybe we've got to change something here on the Duo chat. Let's see what we got here. Let's go here. Line 3. What do you got, line 3?
Hey, Ben, it's Alan down in
I
Louisiana.
can't hear them. I can't hear them. Maybe we can't. Maybe we've got to work on something here. Let me see if I can tinker with the phone calls. There might be something going on with the phone calls that I don't know about. Let's see here. There. Okay. Let's go here. Let's see here. We will try to get this. Roadcaster Duo chat, Duo main. Let's try. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Let's try it one more time and see. Somebody heard him. I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him. We'll see here. All right. Well, maybe we will turn off the calls and let me get this hooked up real quick. See what we got. We'll play with this for a second here and see what I can do. Let's go here. I don't know. See what we can do. Oh, let's go here. Now, whoa. I think we might have it. I think we might have this. Lines are open, 615-475-7864. No, I don't think we do. No, I don't think it's going to work. I've got to tinker with this a little more. I'm working on this new little system, and I don't think I'm going to be able to take some calls right now. Let's see here. Brave. Okay, we will try, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can only try. I am a one-man show. That's kind of what I've got. Okay, there we go. Desktop audio, monitor output, monitor output. Blah, 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 blah. We'll try it one more time. We will try it, calling it. I don't know if I can get it. Joe, I just can't hear anything. I can't hear anything ringing there. So let's, I don't know. We'll get this worked out. No problem at all. Stream can, we hear them, just need to make it so you can hear it. Might be in your sound setting on your computer. Google Chrome might need to be set to your headphones. Okay. I think I have it in Brave. There we go. I think I've got it set up in my Brave. So y'all can hear it, but I can't. Okay, I understand. We'll have to tinker with this. We'll have it set up for in the morning for sure. Let me see here. See if we can do. Damn, I'm really unsure what I need to tinker with. We'll get moving. We'll get moving. No big deal. No big deal at all. We'll get back to what we've got going on. Let's go here. Got a little one for you.
You paid a compliment.
Whoa, now I lost audio on this.
To Senator John Fetterman.
All right, guys.
You talked about his attire.
Wow.
And by the way, I have a whole host of new.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I did. I don't know what I did to tinker with that. But I tell you what, we'll get out of here. I'll make sure that I'm ready for the live stream tomorrow morning. Thank you for tuning in. We got about 2,700 people here. Yeah, I think it is. It's looping. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get this fixed for you. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.